to get started and introduce our speaker today, Jean-Ferus Nyomungeri. I hope I said that well. He is going to be presenting a research that he did for his master's thesis, and I'm really happy that I was able to be one of his supervisors on his committee. So I learned a lot from him about cranes and animal bird movement. And he's going to be presenting some of this research here. And I want to now turn it over to Ferris. I'm going to turn off my camera and my microphone and encourage others to keep your microphone muted until the end. And with that, Ferris, it's all yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Beth, and yeah, for giving me the floor. And yeah, I think okay. I think everyone can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So as Beth said, my name is Jean-Ferus Nyomungeri, and I'm Community Conservation Program Manager at Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association. And today I'm going to present to you what I have done on my master thesis, and it's all about the cranes, because at Rwanda Wildlife Conservation we serve endangered gray-crowned cranes. And what I have done is the movement patterns of gray-crowned cranes. Its scientific name is Balearica regularum, and I was looking at those movement patterns across Rwandan borders. So if you don't know the cranes, this is the picture of them. And these birds, they live in east and southern part of Africa. They are wetland and grassland dependent, but their population have declined by 50 to 80% over the past 48 years due to habitat loss, illegal removal of eggs and live birds from the habitat, as well as local and international movement, market trade. Due to that, they have been listed by IUCN Red List in 2012 from vulnerable to endangered. And in Rwanda, based on the census that have been done by Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association, they have found that most of crane population that we have, they live in close proximity to neighboring countries, to Rwandan borders. So those are Uganda, Burundi, and Tanzania. So, and based on the census, they have shown that there is a great variation in the population abundance along those regions. And what to keep in mind, these birds are not migratory birds, but they can undertake some seasonal movements. So as I said, in 2018 to 2019, the census done by Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association, it shows those fluctuations. So in those adjacent neighboring countries. So especially Nyagatare, which in the sector of Matimba and Musheri, and when it comes to south part of the country, Akanyaru wetland, neighboring the Burundi, and also Akagera National Park, which is neighboring Tanzania. So these areas are experiencing the most fluctuations in crane population abundance, but little have been done to understand the reason for those movements. So my research objectives was specifically to identify the cross-border homeland of these gray-crowned cranes, to determine the influence of cranes in seasons, on the influence of changes in seasons on the movement of gray-crowned crane across Rwandan borders, to determine the correlation between habitat use and movements of these birds across Rwandan borders, but also to determine the environmental factors that influence the movements of these birds. Location of this study, it was in Nyagatare district. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me put it in presentation mode. Bernard is telling me that it is not changing.
Is it okay, Ferris? Hello, Ferris?
I can hear you, Beth. I was
what's
putting
going
it in
on?
presentation mode.
Yeah, you can just
I'm
click
putting
down
it
at the
in
bottom.
presentation mode.
You just can click down at the bottom on the little icon that says it's presentation mode.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how to do that? Or you can go up to the
Oh.
top under slideshow and click slideshow, either way.
You mean on my PowerPoint?
Yes, what you have right now down in the lower part. Yep, next one over, that one. Click on that.
This one?
Click on that, yes. Go ahead and click on it. Yeah, if it's not working, I think we can just continue without that, okay? But that's why, yeah, it's good to practice this before we get into the presentation. So if you don't mind, you can just continue, Ferris.
Yes, I think I can continue maybe for those who you can keep writing down. I think we keep hearing me what I'm saying. So yeah. Okay, let me continue then. Okay. So I was saying that the study area, it was in the Nyagatare district, and the Nyagatare district, especially Matimba and Musheri sector, bordering Uganda. The second one was Akanyaru wetland, bordering Burundi. And the third one was Akagera National Park, bordering Tanzania. So the method of data collection, the data, I have used the secondary data, and those are data collected by Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association since 2019 to 2021. So those are data collected by the CRANES, tagged by GPS. So, and we have tagged 10 CRANES, and the other data that I have used is precipitation data and temperature data from Rwanda meteorological data that I have got from them. So the way we have tagged the CRANES is we have snares. We set the snares somewhere where the CRANES use to flock up, and to that site we have set snares, and we waited for time like 1 hour so that the crane can come and get in those snares, and we got them and we tagged them. We put GPS tag on the left and the right leg. So, and the data from there, the GPS have corrected temperature and all those GPS coordinates. In addition to that, it's temperature and the habitat use. Wherever the cranes move to, the GPS have recorded the habitat of where those cranes were. And to analyze those data, I have used ARA Studio and ArcGIS Pro. ArcGIS Pro have helped me to produce the map, and ARA Studio was used to model the cross-border homeland of gray-crowned crane at 95 kernel density estimate with smoothing parameter of 5 kilometers. And to answer the other questions, I have used ARA Studio, as I said, and logistic linear regression and generalized linear and mixed model. I have used them to show the presence and absence of gray-crowned cranes. So to understand the influence of changes in seasons of movement of gray-crowned crane and the correlation between habitat use and the movement of those birds, I have also used the linear, generalized linear and mixed model. And from there, by using generalized linear and mixed model, in logistics regression, I have blew the model of continuous variables and then compared the AIC weight. And then I found that additive model of temperature and minimal temperature have the highest AIC, which implies that the highest AIC influence the presence and absence of those cranes. So temperature and minimal temperature, they are the variables, independent variables that I have used to see the one which has the highest AIC. So to interpret, I have estimated, of course, the odd ratio, where I found that with the increase of one temperature, so the odd ratio become positive, which means that when the odd ratio is positive, there is a presence of cranes in Rwanda. But when the odd ratio is negative, it implies that there is absence of cranes in Rwanda. So in the temperature between 20 and the 30, I found that is the suitable temperature for the cranes to be in Rwanda. But on both sides, when the temperature is between 20 and 30, there is it pushed the cranes to move along both countries. But with the influence of change in season, there is when it comes to in a long dry season and all those seasons, I found that.
Can you tell me which slide you want to be on?
Thank you.
Okay, so
Which slide should I be on?
You can start maybe on study area, slide 6.
I don't see numbers, but
okay. You can scroll. I will stop you. Let me start from here so that I will pass through it quickly.
Yep, just go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
So as I was telling you, based on the research done by the census from Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association, most of cranes, they are distributed close to Rwanda, close to proximity to our neighboring countries. So, and it shows variations in population abundance. So, and these birds are non-migratory birds, but they can undertake some seasonal movement. Continue. So, and as I told you, this was problem statement, and they are close proximity to neighboring countries, and they experience most fluctuation in population, but little have been done. So I wanted to see, like, to look at the reason for this fluctuation. Next. So specifically, I have identified cross-border home range and the influence of changes in seasons on the movement of gray-crowned crane across Rwandan borders. I have also determined the correlation between habitat use and the movement of these birds across Rwandan borders and other environmental factors that influence the movement. Next. Next. So, and I have used secondary data that I got from Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association, as they have tagged in 2019 June GPS, and the data used is from 2019 June to 2021 May, and the meteorological data, precipitation and temperature. Next. Next.
Okay, it's on results now. Is that okay?
It is not moving. Okay, so with the
Are we on results?
list,
Sorry, are we on results
yeah,
or it's not moving?
it was not moving. Maybe you moved it faster. But
Okay, is it on results or not?
Yes.
Good. Okay, thank you.
okay, so with the result, because I have the following variables as shown in the first column, but by using generalized linear and mixed model in logistic regression, I have built the model of continuous variables and then compared the IASC weight, which is Akagera information Cartesian. And then I found that additive model of temperature and minimal temperature have the highest AIC, which implies the highest AIC influence the presence and absence of the gray-crowned crane in Rwanda. Next. So after realizing that additive model of temperature and the minimal temperature, they have influence on the presence and absence of this board, to explain that in a logistic regression, I used odd ratio. So as you see, there is the column of variables, and next is estimate, and another one is p-value. These estimates have helped me to calculate the odd ratio, which you are seeing here. So by the increase, whatever temperature we have, there is a certain number of cranes that we have. But with an increase of 1 degree Celsius temperature, there will be an increase in the odd ratio of gray-crowned crane being present in Rwanda. So because when you increase, the odd ratio is 1.22 times, but the temperature has, which it shows that it has a positive influence of presence of gray-crowned crane in Rwanda, because the ratio value is more than 1, is higher than 1. But when for the minimal temperature, the ratio value I calculated, and I found that the odd ratio is 0.75, which means that it is below than 1. It indicates that by the increase of 1 degree temperature, at the minimum temperature, it will negatively influence the presence of cranes in Rwanda. Next. So this this curve, you see, it's temperature curve, it's a prediction curve, which shows that the probability of presence of gray chronic crane in Rwanda against temperature, it shows that between 20 and 30, it's a favorable temperature for the cranes to be in Rwanda, either in Rwanda or neighboring countries. Next. So for the seasons, wherever any long dry and it has decreases in long dry season and short rain season. The possible cause, as identified by Attenborough in 2021, the possible cause for these changes in homeland size is due to food availability and distribution. And birds are very sensitive to temperature, as stated by Srinivan and Erizen Wilco. And the cranes most likely to appear in Rwanda when temperature is between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, but below 20 or above 30, the occurrence of gray-crowned crane changes. So gray-crowned cranes use cropland, wetland, trees, open and broadleaf evergreen deciduous forest more than other habitat types, which includes water body, herbaceous, shrubs in all seasons of year. In a previous study, cranes use mostly wetlands in rain season and cropland in dry season. It shows that gray-crowned cranes use wetland in rainy season for breeding and for food resources, while Papageorgius et al. Shows that the movement of birds during breeding time is low. So as conclusion, gray-crowned crane is endangered bird species which use a mix of habitat, which is wetland, cropland, and broadleaf. Cropland and broadleaf in dry season, as well as wetland in rainy season, are the main habitat frequently used by gray-crowned cranes. Temperature used as the explanatory variables to predict cross-border movement of gray-crowned crane. In the dry season, these birds use larger homeland than in rainy season. So my research have recommended that to work on suitability and it has also recommended that cross-boundary collaboration is urgently recommended to ensure the safety of this bird by restoring crane habitat and protecting wetlands. And the RWCA and other conservation institutions are also required to collaborate to develop policies which enable the farmers to live friendly with cranes. So thank you very much. That's it for now. And sorry for these challenges, but yeah.
Thank you, Ferris.
Sure
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. And I do apologize for all the technical difficulties we had. Our electricity went off here in the building, and that's why I lost the connectivity. And unfortunately, I don't have the question. So I'm hoping, Deborah, do you mind to read through the questions that came into chat? Because I know there were some there before I got cut off. And then also, if anybody here has any questions for Ferris, you can also unmute. So Deborah, do you mind?
Sure, Beth. There is a question from Hilary. She asked, how does your GPS identify the habitat? Do you have background data set linked to habitat?
Thank you very much, Hilary, for the question. So actually, the way the system is designed, it is designed in the way that the GPS is reflecting, actually, whatever the GPS take the coordinate, it also it take the habitat reflecting to that place. So, and the way I saw it, it was accurate.
Okay, great. I hope you also, answered the second question. That was about the background data set linked to habitat.
So
Yes,
people who
Feroz?
designed the GPS, they have linked with it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And there
Hidad,
was no issue with that.
Thank you. If you have any follow-up, you can also type it. Oh, she said in the question, how does it know the habitat that it is?
So those GPS guys, the people who work on it, because me personally, I have tried to see where to follow some GPS coordinates and to see if it's exactly what they have taken is exactly what it is at the field. So and I found that it's accurate. And
Okay,
other
great.
things, how does it know? I don't know.
Augustine has asked, do cranes move from Rwanda to different countries rather than neighboring countries?
So based on the information I got from those GPS what we have tagged, and remember, these birds are not gray-crowned cranes are not migratory birds, but they cannot take, of course, some seasonal movement. I didn't see them like moving from Rwanda to like Kenya, They move they don't go far away. It's just close. They went like from Rwanda, that's Nyagatare, to like Ntungamo, which is not far from those areas. Those kind of those movements.
Okay, thank you. Hilary has a follow-up question. She asked, do you think that the GPS identifies habitat through high-grade satellite imagery?
Repeat the question.
Do you think that GPS identifies habitat through high-grade satellite imagery?
I don't know.
Okay. Maybe Rangwa Ror has any addition? Hi, Dor. If not, we can keep going with the questions. If anyone else has a question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question while we're waiting to hear from the GPS.
Yeah,
It's quite
hello.
noisy. Oh,
Hello.
Sorry, Deo, can we hear from Laura and then you will go next?
Okay.
Thank you.
so I had just typed my question because it's quite noisy where I am. But yeah, I was wondering what kind of broadleaf trees he referred to in the presentation. And the reason why there was such a big factor, is it because they provide roosting sites, or there's another reason?
Yeah, it's because they provide roost area, roosting habitat. Those are tall and tall trees that can make canopy. Yeah, and cranes use them to roost, like especially in the night. They roost in those trees and they spend there. They spend there like night.
So any particular trees, and maybe the sites where they were mostly found across the borders?
Especially in the in the north, like in the Uganda and across Muvumba, those areas.
Okay, now we can have.
I didn't try to figure to identify the names of those trees, but those trees I have found that it is mostly in the northeast, Uganda and on the side of Tanzania, but alongside Muvumba, those areas.
Okay, if Laura has any follow-up questions, she will ask.
Yes, just about the croplands. I was just wondering, is this something that is on the increase because of the extension of farmland, or because we're seeing cranes doing a lot of crop raiding, and I was wondering if this is a new habit or if it has always been there. If you could clarify on that, I would appreciate.
Okay, as I told you, they have been appeared mostly in a cropland. The cranes look for food, and most of those areas, they rely on agricultural activities. And these are, again, the cranes rely on the wetlands. Most of wetlands have been transformed and into agricultural areas. But the cranes, like those areas, in the harvesting season, they used to go there to looking for seeds, for food, and seeds. So depending on the crops. So you will mostly see them flocking together in the crop areas. When it is in the beginning of cultivating season, you will see them looking for germinating seeds, germinating crops like maize. Yeah, you will see them flocking and in those crop areas looking for food.
Okay, thank you. Now we can have Deo. Deo, can you ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. It is no a question. I was going to add. I joined late. I don't know what Feroz has explained. The explanation of Feroz on the GPS tag. If the GPS tag, how the GPS tags identify the habitat. But I work with the Feroz. We use the Ecoton GPS tags. It's a very nice tags. It has the capability of using the satellite image and then describe different habitat. So it is not the GPS who give the habitat. It is they use the satellite image just to describe the habitat. Feroz, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Okay.
You are right there. So I was kind of stuck, but thank you for your comment. But you are right.
Thank you, Deo. Now we can see the question in chat from Augustine. Do cranes move from Rwanda? Oh no, this one was replied on, but if yes, how can you identify the Rwandan cranes from other cranes from other countries. Maybe Ferris, you can answer the second question. How do you identify Rwandan cranes from other countries?
So nowadays, I cannot say like we have Rwandan cranes, we have Ugandan cranes, but what we are planning as RWCA, so we have tried to create like a group of East African group where we have developed like it's caravan. So we now have those designs and we are planning to tag all cranes which will be on the Rwandan side, and the Uganda will do the same. We tag the cranes which are in Uganda. Tanzania will do the same, and then from there, when the cranes move and each country has its color bands. It's the code or the color of the bands are quite different. So, and whenever the cranes move to another country, when you see the bands which are on their eggs, you will know that, okay, these color band are from this country. So means that this crane is from this country. So that is how it's a project which is in pipeline. So we are planning to do it. Maybe do you remember when we start doing that activity?
Yeah, starting in May this year.
Okay, yeah. So that's how we are planning to differentiate like cranes from Rwanda and the cranes from other neighboring countries. Thank you, and thank you for the question.
Thanks. Now Franklin wants to ask. Franklin, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Deborah. And thank you to Mr. Jean Ferras for its great presentation about cranes. What I do have two preoccupations, means questions. So I'd like to know why increase of temperature 1 Celsius degree has a negative impact on the distribution of cranes in Rwanda. And apart from temperature, which is another factor which may induce the migration of the crane from country to another country, and why these cranes which belong to Rwanda, they still move from Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and Uganda. Thank you, Mr. Ferras.
Thank you very much. But can you repeat the second question? Because the internet was...
Okay, let me repeat all. The first question, the first question is about why increase of 1 Celsius degree temperature has a negative impact on the distribution of cranes in Rwanda. When temperature increase, there is a negative distribution of crane in Rwanda, as you presented. I'd like to know why. Maybe cranes are fearing temperature or what, I don't know. And secondly, I'd like to know which another factor which may influence the migration or repartition of crane in Rwanda, apart from temperature, which another factor which may cause crane to move country to country. As you said, they can move from Rwanda to Uganda, Tanzania, or Burundi. Apart from temperature, which another factor may induce that distribution? These are two questions that I need, if possible, an answer. Thank you.
So, and maybe let me start with the first question. By the increase of 1 degree Celsius,
yeah,
because as I told you, I have used I have used like temperature, the data from Meteo, and the data taken by GPS tag.
Okay.
So when you take the minimum temperature, and statistically there is I have there is an estimate produced by statistical. It's a model interpretation. When you take and the temperature, it has shown as variables which have like AIC weight, which have strong AIC weight, and those variables I have used them. It have shown that they influence either negatively or positively the presence or absence of cranes in Rwanda. So when you take the minimum temperature, so by the increase then 1 degree Celsius, that is at the minimum temperature. So imagine if its temperature, the minimum by increasing, it's like -1. Let me say like that. So when you take the estimate, calculating the odd ratio, which will be multiplied by the cranes that you have at that temperature, it shows that the number of cranes at the minimum temperature will be reduced. But when you take the exact temperature, which is the data taken by the GPS. So for that case, when you increase the temperature, 1 degree Celsius, so the odd ratio you will find, it will be positive, which is higher than 1. When you take the odd ratio, you multiply with the number of cranes that you have at that temperature before you increase to 1 degree. The number of cranes you will found at that place to that temperature will be increased. That's what it means. Yeah. So, and for the second question,
please,
you asked if there is other factors that can influence the presence or absence of cranes in Rwanda, right?
Yeah. But for the first question, I would like to know, is temperature have an influence to the distribution of cranes in Rwanda, or temperature does not any effect to the distribution of cranes in Rwanda? I'd like to understand that, because in the western part of Rwanda, as you developed, there is no cranes. So I'd like to understand if where cranes are, there is increasing of temperature or decreasing of temperature. I'd like to understand about
it. Temperature is one thing. There is also other factors like habitat.
Okay.
Yeah, because like the habitat, if habitat is not favorable to them, you will not find there the cranes, like roosting place, wetlands, so breeding site where they can make nest and lay eggs. Those are other factors that can influence the presence of cranes.
Okay.
It is not just only temperature.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. I think you responded to the second questions too, and we are now 4 and 2 minutes. Is there any one question that we can answer before, and then if not, we can thank the presenter? Any other question? Okay, thank you so much, Ferus. I'll now give the floor to Beth Caprin before we
thank you. I didn't really have much to say, just thanks so much. That was really great. And apologies to everybody, especially Ferris, for the technical problems. And it's just so exciting to see your research out there, Ferris, and it's very unique and innovative. So I hope you continue doing this kind of great research for endangered species like this crane. And thanks to everybody for joining. See you next week. Thanks, Deborah, for helping out with hosting this. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beth, for hosting and for your time, you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.